Hey, welcome to Daddy Ball Monday. Yeah, welcome to Daddy Ball Monday. We back. Welcome to Daddy Ball Monday. Yeah. So we've been on hiatus with the Daddy Ball podcast. You know what I'm saying? But we got a special guest with us. Me and my boy Veggie Hoken here. We got a special guest with us today. My boy Quincy Avery, the quarterback coach guru, has blessed us today. You know what I'm saying? It's football season. Y'all know how much I love football season. Baseball season is officially over, but it's never really over. You know what I'm saying? Look, what we just have, LT. What weekend we just passed just now?
Normal Dad's weekend.
Yeah, we had normal dads weekend. We had normal dads weekend, but everybody else is fresh off of Select Fest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we not allowed to
All
say
American.
Select Fest.
Right.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, we not allowed to say Select Fest. Select Fest, that's a trigger word in baseball. So Quincy, Select Fest is like the equivalent of the the QB 11. What is that
Elite
called?
Eleven, the
Elite
Select
11.
Fest. That's what perfect game, right? That's like the
Yeah,
top
with
guys.
perfect game. Yep. Oh yeah, because you know about that because Justin Fields
Yeah,
played
yeah. I'm
baseball.
I'm hip. I'm hip to all that joint.
Yeah, because you picked up Justin Fields when he was in 10th grade, right?
Yeah, we started working together when he was young, 10th grade. So he was still big in baseball at the time.
Yeah, he was big. Well, shit, he could have went. He could have got drafted. If he would have stuck with baseball, that's what they say. He could have got. Did he get drafted for baseball? But he was one of the top players in the country for sure with baseball as well.
Yeah, he's one of the best shortstops anywhere. He would have. I'm not sure if he ended up getting drafted. I'm pretty sure he did, but he definitely could have been a baseball player.
Yeah. So what's bringing us here together now today, man? I'm bringing my boy Quincy on. You know what I'm saying? Because I was sitting around the house, you know what I'm saying, after my hectic daddy ball summer. This is the reason why this is our first episode back. Me and my boy, it was more of me, but my boy LT and Dobbs too. We decided that we wanted to have a real daddy ball summer and really focus in on locking in the kids and making sure that they were gonna be ready for the next levels. Because my boy Veggie, he has a son that's entering into the American Heritage System, which is a very elite system down in South Florida. So he wanted to get him substantiated with their program. And, my daughter's going into the ninth grade. And then this is my son's first year of school ball going into the seventh grade over here where we're at with Flat Rock and Sandy Creek. So I wanted to make sure that I spent enough time this summer, you know what I'm saying, putting together a program so that they could go into their fall season without a hitch. You know what I'm saying? And my boy LT, he did the same thing. If you want to talk about your process that you did a little bit.
No, we just locked in. We just making sure that pressing the body, right? And we also took a deeper dive into the academic side because we're going into a new academic system. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was there from the mental side as well as the physical side, so we can just get the ground running and assimilate quickly into this new environment.
Yeah. And that's really important. Like, you know, we like to focus in on academics, you know what I'm saying, on this show. We're academic dads. There are people that have shows where, academics is not really important and everybody's, competitive advantages and to each his own. We just like to talk about a more well-balanced approach when it comes down to the combination of school and athletics, you know what I'm saying, the combination of both of those. And but yeah, I was sitting around, man, on my week. I was like, oh man, I didn't see nothing that was going on. All I had was kids. Oh man, training. I was all over the place. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, the first week they were back in school. And I'm on Hulu. And I'm like, this my dog on TV. What is this? My boy got a movie out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All right, man, my boy got a movie out, man, the Quincy Avery effect. So I'm like, I seen y'all promoting it, and I was like, man, I didn't know if it was released because when I first saw you promoting it, I went to go check it out, and it hadn't been released yet. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And then it popped up on there. I was like, golly, my boy got dang real superstar. My boy got a movie. You know what I'm saying? So I said, man, let me get my boy a spin. You know what I'm saying? And then I got into it, and I was like, wait a minute. Why isn't everybody talking about this show?
I
I train more NFL quarterbacks than anybody in the world. But this is bigger than football.
Let's go. Sports is very much a business, so what we have is a large population of people not getting the chance just based upon how they look.
It's cliche. It's like the black athlete story, but it's real.
If you want to play in the NFL, you have to change positions.
They didn't think we were smart enough to play the quarterback position. These young men need help. I can help them.
Hugh found a way to connect with his clients in a way that most quarterback coaches don't.
Quincy has helped me become one of the top 11 quarterbacks in the country.
He's one of the best coaches that I've ever worked with.
There's so much adversity I faced early in my life with family.
I've seen guys with so much potential like not make it.
Hugh takes those guys who people have given up on, and he gets them there.
I help hundreds of young men get college scholarships and eventually the opportunity to someday play in the NFL.
That's a dream, go to the NFL and keep taking this football route as long as I can to help my family out with everything.
It's a culmination of 20-some years of hard work, them doing everything they could to get there.
I've seen the Quincy Avery effect in real time, and you can't deny the result.
You get to write your own story.
Let's go.
Yeah.
This is the best show. I don't care what sport your kid plays. This is the best show that I've seen that you could sit down with your sons and daughters and look and be able to project everything that they could possibly go through, that they're going to possibly go through, moving towards trying to be a professional. Right?
Yep.
I sat there and I watched it. I said, it's unbelievable, all of the information that's inside of this show, and nobody is talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah.
as far as we got our
Yeah.
friend group.
I get
But
what
I
you're
was
saying.
like, but in the sports world too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's talking about this. We going into football season. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? Let's just for me in my world, I know that probably in the upper levels and everything, people, you know what I'm saying, talk about it for sure. But I'm just saying in my small little, focused in on my kids' world, which a lot of us are, only thing that we have access to in our free time is like Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, social media, and a lot of the information that we get as parents is inside of these, all these little groups. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, we just need to light these groups up with Quincy Avery effect, just so that they could see, you know what I'm saying, like the players that they have, that they're developing, that are coming up, they could see an example of what they're about to go through. They could see themselves, first of all, and they could see an example about what they're about to go through. And me and my son, we watched it, and he was just so locked. By the way, it's hard to get kids to watch
For sure.
a movie or anything, and it's a documentary too.
To sit down and really lock in. Yeah.
He was so locked in, like he couldn't wait. He didn't even really want to go to sleep. He had to go to sleep though. He didn't even really want to go to sleep. He wanted to watch it all the way through, and it's so hard to get for them to focus in on the TV screen because they just got their phones. But he was so dialed in and locked into it from beginning to end, like super duper interested. There's so much information, and there's a lot of things that me and him talk about that he just looked over at me while it was going on. I was like, yeah, that's what you see what it's not necessarily coming from you. It's coming from the players. You can see where you had Deshaun Watson, you had Jalen Hurts, you had Josh Dobbs, you know what I'm saying? Like you had Justin Fields, you had Jordan Love, you had so many different players coming back and reflecting on their younger selves. CJ Stroud reflecting on their younger selves, like you could see it's like they're going back and they're going back through the process themselves and remembering and talking and describing about those intimate moments. And I saw in him like, hey man, listen, I see now, I can see this now. So I just wanted to get you on, let everybody know y'all need to give Quincy Avery effect a spin. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? Quincy, I'm gonna let you talk about, how they can where they need to go, how they need to reach, what your inspiration behind it was, what your motivation for it was. Let you spend a couple of minutes doing that, and then we just gonna ask you a couple of questions about it.
No, for sure. So, yeah, you can find me all socials, anything like that, just Quincy Avery. But the documentary to me, like, yes, we share a lot of really impactful, I think, quarterback stories or ways in which that I might have been able to impact their lives in order to help them on their journey. But I think the big part about it for me was being able to tell my story. I think that oftentimes people tether their work ethic or how hard they're working in order to results that they see. And I think that's very easy, right? Like, hey, I go outside, I hit with my dad, I come back, I might get a hit the next day.
Right.
But it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you go work out with your dad, the next game you go 0 for 4. Then you go back home. Are you going to work out with your dad again? Or are you going to be like, oh, I didn't work? Right? The effects of being able to continuously work as hard as you can for an opportunity that may be seen or unseen because you do not know the results of hard work. And that was the thing that I learned throughout this process for myself. Living out of my car for 1,000 days, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of different bits of adversity that I went through, and it would be easy for me, a college-educated man, to just be like, yo, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's a lot harder to say, I have a dream. I'm passionate about this dream. I know where I want to go. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And that's really the way that I want to live. I said that I wanted to be the best at something. So my words and my actions are going to be congruent in order to do the things that I need to be the best, even though I have no clients. I spent 1,000 days getting ready for my first session. So when I got my first session, guess what? I was able to excel at that session, and that's what catapulted me to the career that I have today. Right. But I think that people think that you always get to prepare for something. It's not how it works. I got to stay ready, right? Yeah. And that's what allows you to really take off or be successful, because you never know when your opportunity is going to hit. And it's not just in sports, it's in life.
Right. And so right there you just basically described the opening of the film where, and not to get too specific into it because we want them to make sure that they go see it, but it was like, man, you went through all of this adversity. Like you sacrificed so much, you know what I'm saying? Like sleeping in the floor in the locker room at UCLA, like you sacrificed so much, right? And if you wouldn't have done that, because fast forward to your biggest moment was like, man, you go from that, and then you get the biggest cosign and stamp from Tony Dungy on what was
Football
it?
Night in America.
Football Night in America.
Yeah.
When Deshaun Watson, he came back, he had to come back from the bad game. You know what I'm saying? You flew in town, y'all worked, you know what I'm saying, all the way into the night. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was obsessed with turning around his performance, and you guys worked tirelessly to do that. And then he came out and had this super explosive performance where he just came out on the scene as basically the best quarterback in the NFL when he was with the Texans. And in Football Night in America, Tony Dungy gives you the biggest cosign after you had you said 1,000 days. How did that feel watching that? Because I'm sure that you were watching. I know that 1 million people called your phone. I'm sure another 1 million people sent you the video. Like, how did that feel to put in all of that work and for it to come fruition in that way?
What a performance by Deshaun Watson.
He's ridiculous. Deshaun Watson is a star.
And then on Sunday Night Football, Tony Dungy's like,
he got his personal quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, to work with him after the game. Came out 28 for 33, 426 yards, 5 touchdowns. Maybe somebody needs to hire Quincy. That's right.
I think that my answer is probably going to be a little disappointing and the reason I say that is because when you're in the midst of something, you don't really realize how cool it is. Because the only thing that I was thinking about is, all right, what's next though? Like, yes, this is cool, but what's next? And that's something I probably wish that I've done a better job of, is when you're in the moment of these great things or like huge successes, that you could stop and reflect on how far you come. In fact, there was a day last week, I'm throwing in the Cleveland Browns facility, and I just had to stop and think to myself, I never could have put myself here. This was never, I'm doing things that 25-year-old me could have only imagined. Only thing that I was hoping to do was train enough kids where I could pay my bills, where I could get a house, where I could support a family. and the things that I'm doing now have far surpassed that. I never would have even envisioned this. So that was like a small moment of reflection. I wish I would do that more, especially when I get these wins. Yeah, I wish I could say it was really cool. Like, it's cool. You are getting all the messages, all the texts. You know how that goes, and I'm just like, oh man, I appreciate it. But all I could think about is, but what do I have to do next? Because I knew that game happened Sunday, and I knew the next morning. Guess what I had to do? I had to fly back to Houston because Deshaun wanted to train. It is the consistency of doing those things, even when you're in the midst of breakthroughs.
I have a question for you. You mentioned that, you kind of want to enjoy the moment. I want to go back to the relationship that you have with C.J. Stroud. Do you think your personal relationship with your father, who played as a D1 quarterback at Minnesota, parallels kind of what C.J. went through in his perseverance with the QB11 elite tournament, then how he continued to go forward? Do you see more of yourself in him? That's why you kind of, that relationship seems to be a little deeper than the other ones that you had.
Yeah, I thought that when I saw CJ, I knew it was somebody who needed a helping hand, right? Because I knew how talented he was.
Right.
And I knew the difficulty of his situation. I probably had a higher level of fortune in terms of the things that I was coming from. My mom was still successful, like wasn't maybe the level it would have been with my dad. But CJ really had nothing. They were essentially staying in almost a storage unit, right? Like ups, like you know what I'm saying. Like the things that he was going through were really difficult, and it was somebody who I could look at going through tough times, but he was going through these difficulties, and he was still doing everything that he could in order to play the game. This is a kid who had to play football with one contact in because he was too afraid to tell his mom that he lost his contact because he knew she would have done whatever to get it, and she just didn't have it.
Right.
So seeing somebody like that, someone who's so willing to do everything in their power, that's what connected me. So maybe less about my dad, but the fire in him. Someone who's so passionate about the things that they want. I see C.J. Stroud is not the most talented 11th grader that I've ever met. Not by a long shot. I've met many kids more talented than him. I've never met somebody at that age who was willing to work harder or be more locked in on a singular task than C.J. Right? So I think that people oftentimes confuse talent as a thing that gets us to where we want to go.
Okay.
It's not. I've got the most talented kids that I have are not playing college football. They're they're just on the streets. It is not because they didn't have the talent. It's because they didn't have the ability to lock in situations where that was what was required.
Okay.
Right. And so even I think that I connected with what CJ Stroud, like the fact that he came out to the Elite 11 quarterback competition, right? Got turned down, right? Then you hit him up and it was like, y'all connected. You hit him up, it's like, no, just come back to the next one. It's in Oakland, you know what I'm saying? Right up the street. Just come back to the next one. You know what I'm saying? His mom sacrifices whatever needs to be sacrificed. He knows that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? He knows that this is his dream or whatever like that. He gets to Oakland and then he doesn't get picked again, right? And the mental fortitude and maturity that you have to have as a 17-year-old kid, right? To take a phone call from somebody that you barely know, right? And say, hit him up again, right? Because I'm just trying, at that moment in time when I watched it, I said, man, I just had to tap into my former 17-year-old or just young self and say, man, would I have had the humility, would I have had the fortitude, right, to still go back, like, be like, oh yeah, I'm still going to follow this guy. I'm still going to listen to this guy, right? And not only does he do that, he emails them on his own behalf, right? It's not like he said to you, hey man, why don't you hit them people up, you know what I'm saying? And you tell him, you know what I'm saying, to put me into, I'm following you around. Like he could have let ego get in the way because he obviously went out there and balled out, right?
Yeah.
He took the time to advocate for himself, sent the DMs, sent the emails, right? And got himself into another one. And on the very last one, he gets picked as the MVP and then gets brought in, and it changes the trajectory of his entire life, right?
100%.
And so that moment when that happened in that documentary, it was so powerful to me, and I could see why for you, like your connection with him. And when you see something like that, you like, man, this kid, it's not even, you're not even talking to his mom, you're talking to him. And it's like, man, I gotta go all in with it. I gotta go all in on this kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's willing to do all of this. He's, like you said, he's willing to be so focused on a singular task, first of all, on the field. And then he's humble. He put his ego to the side. We're talking about somebody that's worth, close to $200 million today. You know what I'm saying? And the sacrifices that he himself that's the part that I love about it, that it's not sports related. His sacrifice was not sports related. His sacrifice was character related. And people put such an onus on talent. And you said it yourself, some of the most talented players that I've ever coached are just on the street, right? And then you said, well, CJ wasn't the most talented, but he's in the position that he's in. He could take care of multiple generations, right, of Strouds, right? Because he put his pride to the side. He was a high character guy. He was a respectful guy. And he said, listen, this is bigger than my ego. You know what I'm saying? And so that was such a powerful moment to the film. And then you substantiated like, oh, this is why I went all in. Because past that point, you said, no, I'm not done with you yet. I'm paying for your ticket. We're going to Ohio State. No, I'm going with you. I'm walking you in the door. You know what I'm saying? And the rest is history. We're witnessing the greatness. He was blessed to have the opportunity, right, to be mentored and coached by you. But he accepted the opportunity. That's the other part about it. You know what I'm saying? Like people get into these, especially with these momagers and these dads that are GMs and they're playing general manager with their kids' lives. And just think about, this is one of those moments where what do you think would have happened, Quincy, if his dad was in control and managing the situation? What do you think would have happened if his dad would have been there? Like if his dad was one of those guys.
Yeah, so I don't know his dad specifically, but I could talk about a lot of dads that I've had the opportunity to interact with. But that oftentimes those fathers.
I'm just saying from a
for sure,
right? Not his dad personally. I'm glad that you clarified that. I'm not talking about his dad personally because
you just say in general.
In a very interesting situation, being incarcerated. All people that know CJ Stroud's story know what his situation is. But from a hypothetical standpoint, what you've dealt with.
What those dads look like is they're going to be like, we're not going to another camp. We already did this, right? They want people to acknowledge their kids for whatever the thing that they've done is, even if it wasn't good enough. The biggest detriment to kids in youth sports, high school sports, and now guys in college because of this NIL, parents want to be their agents doing those things. This is the parents. The parents are preventing young men, young women from going through any adversity. The lack of adversity, it does not allow you to fall back on anything when things get tough. We all know, we've all played sports at a high level. We know that there's going to be difficulties. We know that there's going to be a moment where you're not successful. We don't get to it's not just a downhill race. We're not full speed sprinting the whole time. We're going to go through real obstacles and real adversity. And the parents who pull their kids out anytime adversity hits, or switch their teams when things get a little bit tough, or go talk to the coach when they feel like their kid doesn't get to play enough. Like those are the parents who now when real life hits them, right? Because it's not just sports, this is life. When real life hits them, they have nothing. They can't say, man, I remember that one time when I went through this with my coach and I pushed through and I persevered because things didn't go like I wanted to, and then I ended up winning the job, and then I was the man.
I did it myself.
They get to go back and
I got this.
That's earned confidence. That's not just confidence. You earn that confidence.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
parents are taking away the ability for kids to earn that confidence. So when they look back, they can look at things. They can see the belts on the wall. Like, I earned that. I earned that. Can't wait to keep going. Right? And that's where parents miss.
So we're talking about like overcoming adversity, and you've seen a lot of these different individuals in different situations, from little league to high school to college to the NFL. It's kind of a two-part question. Do you think that black quarterbacks face more pressure to prove themselves? And what advice do you give them when they feel like they're on the shorter leash than their counterpart?
I think that's so black quarterbacks. I think that there's more difficulties they face in terms of getting the quarterback position, because oftentimes those black quarterbacks are the best athlete, especially like in white towns or things like that, where they're such a good athlete. As soon as they do something wrong, hey, let's just move you to this position. We'll get this kid in who we relate to. We feel like he's going to do exactly what we told him to do. We'll get him to be the quarterback.
Oh, that's key. I don't wait a minute. They're gonna do what?
They're going to do exactly what we tell them in order for them to be the quarterback.
That's key. I never thought about it that way. I think that's a very key point right there, what you just said.
Yeah, and I think that and that's what they want. It's not always the best option, right? But that's one of the biggest barriers to entries. I think that now, since they get to see so many black quarterbacks, that we get more opportunities. Now sometimes they'll say, let's put the best athlete at quarterback. But at the highest level, our leash is definitely shorter. You are never going to see a black quarterback like a Peyton Manning. And when I say that is, Peyton Manning's first 2 years stunk.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young got benched in the middle of his second year as a number 1 overall draft pick. Benched. In the middle of his second year. And his first season, or up until that point, had never been as bad as Peyton Manning. They just had more faith that he would turn the corner. They had more faith that Peyton would turn the corner than a Bryce Young. So the opportunities that we get, they're gonna be less. But we knew that going in. We know we're not gonna get the same. We always heard we gotta do twice as much to get half as much. So that ain't gonna stop now. So we just gotta dominate.
Okay. So what do you know what I'm saying? I know how you feel about this, right? Because what you just now said, right, substantiates why my boy Coach Prime stepped in and made sure that he got Shador all the way through all of it. Because this, you know, I'm on the other side. I've been on this show and said it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there's this point in time where Coach Prime has did too much. You know what I'm saying? But getting Shador to that point, because if he wouldn't have, I feel like if he wouldn't have done everything that you just now said, knowing that this was what he was going to go through, that Shador never would have even had the opportunity to be able to still be at quarterback. Because nobody would, when you think about Deion Sanders, you're like, oh, Deion Sanders, oh man, Deion Sanders ain't got no quarterback for us, son. You know what I'm saying?
Shador was going to be a backup at FAU if it wasn't for Deion. That's how he would have started. Right? He didn't have, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been a really good college quarterback, because I do think Shador was a really good college quarterback, but he didn't have scholarship offers. Right? The scholarship offers weren't there. Like, that was his biggest offer. Going to FAU, I think it was Willie Taggart at the time, was going to be the head coach. Like, that was going to be his fate, and he was going to have to try and figure it out from there. I will say this. I think that I've said a lot of things maybe that weren't so positive about Deion, but I will say this. That man has done everything in his power to make sure that his kids have been successful.
Real daddy ball.
He's done everything, and I think that he's been in a position that's allowed him to do those things. Now, will that be to his benefit, right, as we continue to go on and he has to face adversity that I'm not sure his dad can have a hand in trying to help him out with? But I think Shador, up to this point, has handled things really, really well. So I got to commend him on that, is doing the things for your son. But also, I hope that throughout these times, he's let him face a bit of adversity like we talked about before.
Yeah. And the thing about it is now, it's like now he's faced, I think that he was allowed to build himself up and make himself strong enough for the highest level of adversity that he's ever faced, the lowest moment of his life, falling from being, living up to the hype of being a first round pick and then falling from glory as far as he fell. Deion being there to build him up to be strong enough to be able to take a hit like that. And then now the way that he's handling everything, it's like, okay, well then now, and he even said it in the interview. He was like, you know what? My dad doesn't need to be here. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to show, he doesn't need to come see me play until I'm locked in. I'm the start. What he can come then. I need to handle this right here. I need to handle this on my own. I need to take ownership of this situation. Like, appreciate you, Pops, for everything that you bringing me to this position in this moment, but I got it from here. And it's like, this is the moment that he's in, like right now, where on the opposite end, a guy like CJ Stroud had to take ownership of his situation his junior year in high school. You know what I'm saying?
Since he was a kid, he always had to do it.
Right.
Yeah, so we talked about the progress and the change part and, the navigation from the parental standpoint. But if you were looking at training quarterbacks, you started these quarterbacks for training, how do you see them breaking down those barriers of athleticism versus intelligence? Because they always seem to label the black quarterback as being athletic and the counterparts as being intelligent. But when we see that they really go hand in hand with the elite quarterbacks, what do you think needs to change in order to truly be equal at that position?
Well, I would say I think that black quarterbacks are, honestly, if we look at the league, the best quarterbacks in the NFL to me are a lot of black guys, right? So right. We see that we're able to do the things that are required. The advantage that I think many of the young white quarterbacks have over a lot of the young black quarterbacks have is being in systems early on that have required them to process things at an NFL level. Okay. So it has to do as much with coaching at a young age and getting those reps that you can rely on those skills when the game comes. Like, we're not going to let you run around because we're going to work this read 1 to 2 to 3. Now, if that's not there, you can go be Superman. But learning how to be a surgeon as a quarterback. When it's 3rd and 7 and I can't run the ball, I can work through my progression the right way. And it's just getting reps earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what you see. The most successful guys are just guys who've been doing it for the longest. Joe Burrow, to me, is the most polished processor that we have. It's not to be forgotten on me that he's the son of a football coach. He came up in a locker room. He learned how to read defenses early on. He learned how to work the progressions. And every system that he went through in college forced him to do those things. Right? So He's just gotten more reps than everybody else. And if we can get a lot of the coaches who are coaching these young black quarterbacks to do those things, right, make them go through reads, make them do those things growing up, I think that we'll see a true change and we will really be able to dominate the position.
So now what our conversation that we had off the air makes sense when I called you and when you came to we had this conversation. So that's what the QB school is about. So go ahead and talk to the people a little bit about your vision, because now I really I completely understand your vision now with the quarterback school, being able to reach people online. If you want to talk to the people about that, and then there's one other thing that I want to say too after that.
Yes, I really want to build an online system where we can start teaching the development of the quarterback position, so we can learn it from the neck up. I think that the way that many of us understand the game or the position is a very surface level situation. I want these guys to understand protections, blitzes, defensive coverages, how they rotate together. Work together in order to make a defense and in order for you to be able to be their opposition as a quarterback. So we're going to do an online school that's going through film each and every week where we really dive into the position and really start giving guys a true understanding of what it means to play the quarterback position. I think that we have guys who are thrown into the quarterback spot, but they're not playing QB. We're not playing it like a chess game. And I think that's what allows the best people to be the best. And I look forward to bringing that to folks so that they can understand the game better.
Yeah. And then the other part about that was because we focused in on the double standard of the black quarterback position wise. But even for you, I don't wanna overshadow what you have to go through as a black quarterback coach. Because it's crazy the things that people say about your qualifications. It's like this guy, like Deshaun, like these names aren't like Deshaun Watson, C.J. Stroud, Josh Dobbs, Jalen Hurts. Like you're literally Malik Willis. You know,
Yeah, I got
Jordan Love, like all of the ones, everybody that we see, everybody that we watch on TV, right? You have a hand in in something about, as far as their development goes, something that they're bringing to the table that's making them a star on TV. And as far as the double standard go, you still have to go through.
Yeah, it's crazy that. So honestly, I train more NFL. This is just I train more NFL quarterbacks than anybody in the world. So there's no one who could be like I do more of that than you. They just don't. So that's one. But the things that people say is they have a perception of me based on things that they don't know, and it's interesting just the relationships I have with coaches, because there's some coaches who really provide an avenue and allow me make it easy to work with their guys. But oftentimes those coaches are like black quarterback coaches or some that I know. And the white guys who train quarterbacks in the way that I do, they really get carte blanche, like do your thing. So it's interesting that they just perceive me a certain way because maybe the way I dress, the way I talk. Honestly, I talk like us. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm on Twitter, like I'm gonna keep it a bean. I'm gonna say exactly what I feel, and that throws people off. But that's just who I am. And I feel passionate about doing that. So they can give me the respect or not. I've earned it. So I don't care what they do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and people are going to keep talking crazy.
How important is that, though? Like, to not assimilate? Like, how important is that?
To me, it's very important. That's why Lamar Jackson is my favorite quarterback. Honestly. Lamar Jackson is so authentically himself every single day. He doesn't put on a facade. He doesn't try and fake for nobody. He's authentically himself, and he's forced people to respect exactly who he is. That seems easy for us or for a lot of folks, but to really go do that in the situation that he's in and get people to bend to your will because you do everything right, but you yourself. And I think that's a big thing. And it's like that's why I love Lamar Jackson. That's why I'm not a big Russell Wilson fan. Right? It's like those are two opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of how we get to operate and be authentic to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You definitely
Jordan
gotta go
Love, you know what I'm saying? I got them all. You know what I'm saying?
No, go ahead, go back through them again. Yeah. Big cap on them folk.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got the Jordan joint, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got the Geno, you know what I'm saying? We got all game worn joints, you know what I'm saying?
Game worn, don't worry about it.
We got the Justice joint, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, game worn.
We got trade. We got a bunch. We got a lot going on over here. And I got a few in the shop getting framed up right now.
And it's funny that you said that about the opposite ends of the spectrum of, say, like a Lamar Jackson versus a Russell Wilson, because you have somebody that's not willing to bend, right, on what they stand on who they are, and then you have somebody that's always bending, right, and capitulating, and it sucks because the world is going to look at and say, oh, this is what we want from our quarterback. They're not going to use the word black when it comes down to Russell Wilson, because they're just going to use this as an example of, okay, this is what we want from our quarterback, right? But then behind closed doors, you know what I'm saying, you figure out what Denver had to figure out was, oh yeah, megalomaniac, you know what I'm saying, over the top, whatever. But the persona is oh, well, I'm willing to, but really behind closed doors, you're really not willing to capitulate. But then you got a guy that's just completely genuine, you know what I'm saying, like Lamar Jackson, and not with man, I just went diamonds all the way flooded out, buck 50, you know what I'm saying, in the mouth, no diddy, you know what I'm saying? And guess what my boy gonna do? Me and LT seen it with our own two eyes. Icy on the sideline, right?
Mm-hmm.
11U football game, show up, no, without getting paid, show up, take pictures with everybody that wanted to take a picture, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of the hood in a lot of, you know what I'm saying, South Florida.
That's him. That's what I appreciate so much about him. Just being authentic like that.
Yeah. I don't know how much time we have with you. I had some questions just watching the show, and you mentioning about all this flying. So, Ruben, this could probably be a separate section, but you travel all the time, right?
Yeah, my
So,
travel schedule is crazy.
yeah. So, like, who's your favorite rental car company?
You know what's crazy? I don't even rent cars. It's all Uber.
All
I'm
Uber.
all Uber. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite hotel brand?
I'm Marriott only. We ain't doing nothing but Marriotts.
No,
Man, I hope
Marriott.
they giving you a sponsorship, you know what I'm saying, for a shout out like that. Marriott. He said Marriott and nobody else. That's a
Yeah,
strong, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah,
What
because
about
goddamn
the airline?
I'm in Atlanta, so you know I gotta go Delta.
Delta. Yeah,
Okay.
that's no question.
We
And
ain't got
Delta
no
got
options. Yeah, we ain't got no options.
Delta got the best TVs in the movie. You know what I'm saying? So last thing, bro, before we get up out of here, right? I gotta say this part because this part was near and dear to my heart, bro. It really, I just don't. I want to make sure that the smaller people, you know what I'm saying, can take something from this and go and watch the show because it was a part in the show where you were traveling with your dad, you know what I'm saying, and you pulled up to a hotel
Mm-hmm.
and you know you woke up, you know what I'm saying, and he
Pops
wasn't
wasn't
there,
there.
you know what I'm saying, and you
Mm-hmm.
said something and it hit so hard, you know what I'm saying, like you said, man, Pops, I know he loves me, but he loved this other thing more, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, and I remember it just took me back because I remember uh being 12 years old and me and my younger brother were with my dad for the summer and his new wife, we hadn't heard from her for like 3-4 days and she just left us and I had to walk with me and my brother, you know what I'm saying, and go get on a payphone and call my mom collect
Yep.
and she had to drive from Georgia to come pick us up. And it's like I've never had like the opportunity to even tell that story to anybody. But when I heard you say that, that was the moment, that was like a moment for me personally where I could like oh yeah, that statement just allowed me to have some closure. You know what I mean? Because I know my dad loves me, right? But he just loved this other thing more. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I think that that's why I'm so scared of ever being addicted to anything. You know what I'm saying? For myself personally, because I don't want my son or daughters to ever feel like there's anything in this entire world, right, that I could possibly love more than them. And if you are a kid and if you're a mom and you're a single mom and you're going through this and you're watching this with your kid, just know, just know, right, that you are loved. You're loved. I promise you. There is love for you. You are not lesser. You know what I'm saying? You have the opportunity to fight through the adversity. You have the opportunity to get to the other side and make it. You have love because that's what when you said, "Oh yeah, I couldn't enjoy that moment." That's what that was. I need to make sure I got to guarantee it. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to make sure that I ride this wave of the love that I'm getting right now on what I was willing to sacrifice because I've seen and been in a different type of position than everybody else. And I know that there's a lot of onus that's put on, especially how the league is set up, professional sports, because it's dominated by two-parent homes now, that a lot of kids that are from the hood that deal with these real life situations, they get left out and they feel like they're alone and there's nobody that's there for them. And that moment in the film, you know what I'm saying, was so important for me, my 42-year-old self, you know what I'm saying, being able to watch that and say to myself, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to tell myself, you know what I'm saying, it was okay. You know what I'm saying? I got emotional. I was like, man, like, that was the first time I ever heard it. And you said it so eloquently. And then, y'all relationship, y'all had a moment in there with yourselves. And then there was forgiveness. And it was so important, of a moment to me. And I know that there are other kids that are out there right now that may feel like the same way that you felt and the same way that I felt growing up. Like, dang, pops don't love me, you know what I'm saying, or moms don't love me, you know what I'm saying, but no, it's love, you know what I'm saying, it just might be
some other stuff that might be going on that's not allowing them to show their love in the way that they want to do it. And that was difficult. I mean, you happened to you at 12. He left me in the hotel room when I was like 14. That's a lot. It was a lot for me to deal with, honestly. And I know it was a lot for you to deal with as well. And I think it's a lot of folks who have to go through substance abuse, things like that, whatever the case may be. And what I had to learn, like, it's not an indictment on them. It just is what it is. I didn't think that he loved me any less. I didn't think he cared. I just knew I got abandoned, right? I knew that he left me in a spot that I felt vulnerable. And the only thing that I could do at that point is know that I'm not going to do that to anybody else. And how do I control that? I'm going to control it the best I can and hope that I never put anybody in that position. But fortunate to this day, I have not. And I hope to keep that streak going.
Yeah,
for sure, man. And it showed, especially in your relationship with CJ Stroud, man. I mean, I really appreciate how open you were in this documentary. It did a world for me and my son to be able to sit down and enjoy, watching it. It was hour and a half on the nose. We watched 45 minutes, you know what I'm saying, while we ate dinner one night, and then we came right back and finished the other 45 minutes the next night. And it was a real bonding experience for the both of us. And it was also a counseling session for me, you know what I'm saying, for even in my approach, you know what I'm saying, with my own father and the things that I went through when I was younger, and understanding, that feeling of feeling like you're lesser, but then knowing that you're not, you know what I'm saying, and being okay with going out there and proving to the world that you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not lesser, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay to feel that way, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not lesser. Go out there and prove to the world, you know what I'm saying, that you're not, you know what I'm saying, because the love is gonna come, it's gonna come back exactly the way that you want it to. All
yeah.
right.
Well, Coach Quincy Avery, thank you so much for giving us some time this evening, this afternoon, this morning. We really appreciate you coming on our Daddy Ball podcast show and sharing some words of advice and wisdom with us. Really enjoyed the show on HULU. The Quincy Avery Effect. So for those that's watching this, please go out and watch it on HULU.
Yes, sir. We really appreciate you coming on. If you want to leave the young men with one last word, what would you like to tell them, Quincy?
I would just like to tell folks that hard work is undefeated, and the outcome may not look like you expected it to, but it's going to look like more than you could have imagined if you just continue to work hard.
Yes, sir. That's a great spot to end us at, man. We appreciate you guys tuning into another episode of the Daddy Ball Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We going to keep this thing consistent. We back in the football season. Yeah, football season is back, baby. It's the best time of the year. You know what I'm saying? No baseball slander, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, football season It's gonna get cool outside, fall, the leaves change, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, it's the best part of the year. Homecomings. Oh, I'm so much so looking forward to it, man. It's a much needed break. You know what I'm saying? My boy got dang. Oh, I gotta brag on my boy. My boy scored a touchdown yesterday, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in high spirits, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
let's go, Deuce.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Deuce. Keep going, kid. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see y'all next time on the Daddy Ball Sports Podcast.